Hickok 45 here. Is that pretty? Yeah, I think no, it's actually not pretty. It's beautiful. But guess what else it is? It's heavy. This is a heavy firearm. Does it matter? Well, I don't know. What about you, cowboy? You think it matters? The hog didn't seem to care that it's a heavy firearm or that it's beautiful. But let's talk briefly about that. Can a firearm be too light? Can it be too heavy? Is there a time when it just doesn't matter if it's heavy? I have some thoughts on that, which is dangerous if I have thoughts. So let's just look at that topic. How about it? When does weight not matter? This is a heavy firearm. And we obsess about weight, don't we, with firearms. Some of you think to a fault that I talk about ounces and how much a firearm weighs so often. And I have seen comments over the years, people, wow, just get some weights and work out, Hickok. You're obsessing over 1.5 ounces or 5 ounces or 10 ounces between these firearms or whatever it might be. And so, yeah, no, sometimes that comes from people who have never carried a firearm more than 2 minutes. But sometimes it does matter, and sometimes it does not matter if the firearm is heavy or even big, right? And speaking of that, I'll tell you what reminded me of this. I was picking up this Model 20, the old, this is a remake, it's a Davidson's exclusive. It got, on loan from Gallery of Guns. And I picked that thing up and I thought, well, that's a chunk. That's neat, but it's a chunk like any of these big in-frame size 357s or 44s or whatever. But it's a neat gun. It really doesn't matter that it's a chunk and that it's heavy, right? Does it really matter? So that's what prompted me to talk about this a little bit and give me an excuse to shoot a couple of shots. I never pass up. I can always make up a reason, right, to shoot. So I want to thank, speaking of that, Davidson's Gallery of Guns for their support of the channel, where you get a guaranteed lifetime replacement on firearms. So keep that in mind. And then Silencer Central, they make the best suppressors in the business, and we appreciate their support. Great people. SDI.edu, the Sonoran Desert Institute. You can get some education there on firearms technology, gunsmithing, drone technology, all sorts of things. So check that out. And let's look at a couple of these and talk about this briefly before I make you get out of here. I don't want you to be here long. Okay? You're always welcome to hang around even after I'm finished if you want to, and just stare at the screen or something. So I just brought out a few samplings here to spur a little conversation here between you and me. I bet I can't hear you though, right? I'll hear you in the comments. So when does weight not matter? Because weight is an issue, whether you think it is or not, with handguns especially. I'm just talking about handguns here. And otherwise, see this little piece of hardware? This thing will almost float away. It's the new Ultimate Carry, Smith & Wesson's. And it's got a titanium cylinder. They go to all the trouble to make the cylinder out of titanium and the frame out of aluminum alloy. And some of their guns, they make them out of scandium, which I think is even lighter. And even grips, the grips I have on this are the Hamry Forge, and they're lighter than the CZ grips that are offered on some of these. And so why are we trying to make a firearm that will almost float away, and grips that are not too heavy? Why does it matter? It's going to be the same size in my hand, whether it's made of solid lead, gold, aluminum, or flour, whatever, dough. Well, weight matters, but sometimes it does not. That's the thing that came to my mind. It just doesn't always matter. And speaking of the weight of this one, I don't want to forget Alabama Holster, because they make the best little concealment Kydex holsters you've ever seen. Love them. We appreciate their support. Clips right in there. So weight matters. When that's in your pocket, you almost don't know it's there. If it weighed even 50% more, you would know it. If it weighed twice as much, it would kind of pull on your pants a little bit. Same on your belt. The weight actually matters, especially in a pocket gun. Probably more than anything else, as much as anything else. because you're just going to feel it and it's going to bother you. And literally, if it's heavy, it could kind of tug on your pants, could print more and all that kind of thing. So that's why we obsess about weight. Now, you don't want something so light that it's not shootable, right? So my objective, as most I don't know, shooters, experienced shooters, novice shooters, you want a firearm that's as light as it can be, maybe, but that shoots well and that you can handle it well, right? You don't want something that kicks too hard, it's no fun to shoot, or you cannot shoot it well because it's so light. You know, that don't go too far with it. But you want something that's reasonably light and still, you know, usable, practical. So, very important. And a half an ounce makes a big difference, makes a huge difference. I have this gun, and the only difference, another one, duplicate, yeah, I know, I've got the addiction. The only difference is it has a stainless cylinder. You might have seen it. And it's, what was it, 3 ounces heavier, I think? I mean, it's heavier enough that you can tell the difference. Okay. Now, there are times it doesn't necessarily matter. And I opened with this thing firing it, didn't I? Does it matter how heavy this firearm is? What are you going to use this for? Are you going to be packing this on your belt? You might. You might pack it on a chest holster or something in bear country, I don't know. Probably not one with this long a barrel. So one with this long a barrel, it's mostly a range gun probably. And it could be a hunting piece. Yeah, you could go deer hunting with it or bear hunting or some kind of hunting with it. And in that case, you're going to have a really good holster rig, aren't you? Holsters matter when you're talking about weight, because you can have a fairly heavy gun, but the holster disperses that weight and it becomes less heavy or less bothersome. Okay, so even in a big old thing like this, for me, this is a range gun since I don't hunt. So for me, the weight does not matter. It's going to be on a table. I'm going to pick it up, load it, and I'm going to shoot it. I might carry it around the place and plink with it, but I'm not going to be carrying this thing for hours or anything like that. Yeah, it's just not going to be a problem. I've got a chest holster for this, in fact, if I want to carry it around a little while. And so, range gun. What about a home defense firearm? Here's one I actually use as a home defense firearm, and it's the FN, the 545. It's kind of a big old gun, not too big, 45 caliber, you know, and with the mag in it. The mag is loaded. I'm not going to fire it. You know, it extends, and you know, you got a big piece. It's got some weight to it too. Does it matter? No, because it's in some secret location that I can get to very quickly, but I'm not carrying it. It's not all that heavy. I could carry this, but you know, so it doesn't really matter. With a home defense firearm, your home defense firearm could be, and here's another one, like I say, the Model 20 replica, big old heavy gun. I'm impressed. I haven't even fired it yet. I'm going to fire it today. You're going to see it for the first time. I just picked it up. Like I said, it kind of hit me that this is a big old heavy gun, but I like it. It feels good, a good action and all that kind of thing. And does the weight matter? No. In fact, that's the benefit of this big old gun. It's an in-frame size and shoots 357 or 38. And it's kind of neat. You're not going to get excessive recoil from it, are you? Right target, paper target, I'm going to go double action. That's a powerful round, but yeah, kick was mild. What do you think, cowboy? See if the sights are on. I went through that paint can and hit the cowboy. That's 357 Magnum for you. Yeah, let's try Clyde over there. All right, these are first shots. First time this thing's been fired. How about a 2-liter right there? Boom. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, so the weight is an advantage. I don't mind the weight. I'm probably not going to pack this fairly large revolver, this heavy. So again, weight is pretty much irrelevant unless you are so weak and puny that you, well, just weak, you find it too heavy to hold and shoot. Okay, that would be the only time. So yeah, weight doesn't really matter in that. Here's a good example too, and I'll let y'all go in a second, but 1911s, okay, they're both unloaded, got the mags right here. This is a historical 1911 Colt made in 1918, World War I model. Okay, it's a pretty big gun. You could carry that. I've carried one like that size and weight for a long time, back in the 90s, 80s, 90s, and even later. You could carry that, but the weight on it primarily doesn't matter because it's historical. It's a collector's piece, right? So if you have a firearm that's just mainly a collector's piece, weight doesn't matter, right? You don't care what the thing weighs. The value to you, to me, is the fact that it's, you know, World War I, carried by GIs in World War I, U.S. property. It's just such an interesting historical piece, you don't care. Yeah, weight doesn't matter in that. Now, if you're going to carry it, yeah, it would get a little heavy. Believe me, I know, I carried them. Now, if I want to carry 1911, then this one makes more sense. This is my my Guardian, and it has an alloy frame. It has a shorter slide, and because weight matters, it's going to be on my side. It's going to be in a belt holster, and in a good holster, I hardly know that I have it. I can feel it because it's not, you know, like 10 ounces or anything, but it's just lighter, and their weight does matter, you know, because I'm carrying a thing. So in a carry gun, weight, it matters, and depending on where you carry it, it matters more, doesn't it? I'm not telling most of you anything, right? Just pointing out the obvious. Here's another historical gun. Weight and size don't really matter. This thing was made in the 1880s. So, but now back to the soldiers who carried it in the 1880s, I guess it mattered. They might have thought this thing is heavy. I wish I didn't have to carry this thing. I don't know about that. But for me, it doesn't matter how big it is or how heavy it is. It's historical. It's a collector's piece, and you know, kind of like that piece right there, except more collectible. So, weight, military use. You know, in speaking of military use, and I'm not really talking about long guns, but you know, if you got a machine gun mounted on a Humvee or on a Jeep or something like that, you know, weight doesn't matter that much to the Humvee or to the Jeep. Probably matters to the people mounting it, carrying it to the Jeep, carrying it to the Humvee, but you know, no one's packing that thing on their back, so it's not a big issue. So whether you're packing it or whether you're not packing it, that what makes the big difference, doesn't it, in terms of how important weight is. Because sometimes weight just does not matter. It matters with this gun, my little pocket gun. It matters with this 45 because that's a carry 45. But you know, really with all the rest of these I have out here, the weight, just this one maybe if I wanted to carry it, but with most of these, the weight does not matter one bit because they're mostly range guns, historical collector's pieces, and that sort of thing. So some of you probably had never thought about that, and I just thought it was my job to force you to think about it. So I'm glad you came out to enjoy a little shooting with me, and I probably ought to shoot one more time before you go. You want me to shoot this big beautiful gun? Let's do that, just for the heck of it. I was going to let you go, but you know, dinner's not ready anyway, so your DoorDash is not there yet, so let's shoot 6 more out of this thing. Yeah, since I got it dirty, I think Clyde wanted one of these 44s. Yeah, what'd I tell you? So do some of these plates that haven't enjoyed any lead. So we're empty, and that's a beautiful gun, and I just don't care how heavy it is. Life is good.
Oh yeah, that's better. This is a great gun for defense. Oh hey, didn't see you guys there. While I've got you here, I want to remind you of our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. Talon Grips makes grips, can you believe it, for all different types of firearms. You can get rough texture or more of a rubberized texture. It just sticks right on there. You know, really affordable, really cool option to improve the grip for your handguns or rifles. So please check them out at talongungrips.com. You'll be glad you did. And also Ballistol. Dad has been using Ballistol for many years. It's a cleaner and a lubricant, and it's non-toxic. It works really great, and we're happy to have them on board since it's been a part of our shooting endeavor for a very long time. So go to ballistol.com, talongungrips.com. And also, while you're out there, I'm juggling all these things here. Also, while you're on the internet, please do check out our other social media like Hickok45 on Facebook. There's also Hickok45 on Twitter, The Real Hickok45 on Instagram. There's a John_Hickok45 on Instagram where I do some things. There's Hickok45.com. You can find us also on Gunstreamer. So check out all that stuff and then watch more videos.